My issues with SCDS all started with a cerebral spinal fluid leak, which I did go further into detail in a previous video. If you'd like to see that video, I'll include the link in the description. After a failed craniotomy, things got a lot worse for me. Not only did the symptoms that I was already dealing with get so much worse, but I started developing new symptoms as well. My symptoms all include migraines, brain fog, chronic fatigue, speech issues, memory loss, autophony, loss of hearing, balance issues, head pressure, and tinnitus. All of these symptoms contribute to my increased depression and anxiety. Dealing with all of these symptoms just was seriously affecting my quality of life, and my mental health just started to really become affected by everything. After surgery, not only had I lost a lot of the hearing out of my right ear, but I started hearing noises as well. I would hear my footsteps reverberating throughout my head whenever I was walking. I would hear my heartbeat. I was hearing my voice loudly in my head. People always would tell me to speak up or that I'm soft-spoken, but to me, my voice is just booming in my head. It's so loud that I feel like I'm yelling, so I never know how loud to speak. I was also hearing a new sound that I couldn't quite place at first. At first, it just kind of sounded like wind blowing in my ear or something. It kind of reminded me of when you're on the phone with somebody who is in a windy place. Then I realized that if I stopped to think for a second and I didn't move my eyes, the sound stopped. And I realized that what I was hearing were my eye movements. I never realized how much your eye moves throughout the day until I started hearing it all day. My eye movements progressively got louder and louder to where now it sounds like scraping or a marble on wood floor. And I can't seem to drown it out no matter what I do. And it really bothers me at night when I'm trying to go to sleep. When you close your eyes are still moving. So I'm trying to go to sleep at night and all I'm hearing is my eye moving. I've tried to drown it out with headphones at night to go to sleep, but I can still hear it. I felt like my quality of life was just going downhill very fast. The fatigue started to get very severe. I wake up sleepy. I feel exhausted all day. I feel like I need to take naps throughout the day. I always want to take a nap at lunch, and every time I clock out of work, the first thing that I want to do is take another nap. I never feel like I'm getting enough sleep, no matter how much sleep I get at night. And one of the things I hate the most is I hate the feeling tired unless I'm trying to sleep. I just feel so lethargic and unmotivated and lazy and dull. There have been times when my husband would want to watch a movie or a TV show and I just have to say, I'm sorry, I'm just really tired right now. Or if we wanted to go out somewhere and hang out with a friend, I just feel so tired, too tired to do anything. My anxiety started to really get a lot worse too. I get a lot of anxiety just thinking about going out in general and being around people in general. Being around a lot of noise or loud noises, it doesn't necessarily have to be a loud noise. Just be a different noise or a surprising noise or loud noises or just a lot of noise around me. It gives me an episode of vertigo. I feel off balance and dizzy, and I'll start to get a headache. So I get anxious about going out, thinking about what sounds I was going to hear and if something was going to throw me off balance and how I was going to deal with that. Thinking about hanging out with friends, going to hang out with a group of friends, I'd be anxious about that because I'd just be thinking about, I'm going to be tired the whole time. Am I going to be able to keep myself up? Am I going to want to fall asleep? Am I going to be so affected by all the noise around me? Am I going to be able to hold a conversation because of my speech issues? Am I going to be able to speak loud enough? Or am I going to be speaking too loud because I can never tell with my voice how loud or how quiet that I'm speaking since it's so loud in my head all the time? Am I going to be able to concentrate? My first experience with being in a social situation was at my work Christmas party. And there were a lot of times when I had to step outside and just take a few breaths because all of the sound around me just made me feel like I was underwater or in a dream sequence. I have that surreal feeling pretty much all day. Before surgery, I had always been very active, working out 3 to 5 days a week, and I love working out. It's been a therapy for me. It just helps me release a lot of stress. So not being able to work out without getting dizzy or getting a headache was also affecting me. There were times when I just wanted to go for a walk, or I can be on the stationary bike, but there's only so long I can go before I start to feel dizzy and start to get a headache. I've struggled with depression in the past, and dealing with all of these physical issues really made my depression come up and rear its ugly head. There are days when I feel like I can hold it together just fine, but then there are days when it all feels so overwhelming, and it's all I can do not to just lay in bed and cry. And then I'll feel guilty for feeling bad because I think that there are people that have it so much worse than I do out there. But that just makes it worse because all that does is invalidate my feelings. I'll feel bad about complaining about being tired when I think about my friends that have 2, 3, 4 kids, and I feel like I have no right to complain about being tired all the time. I don't even have kids. And then I start thinking, well, I can't have kids. What kind of mom would I be? I mean, I'm barely there right now. I feel like I can barely take care of myself. I first suspected that I had SCDS when I was in the CSF Facebook group, and one of the members suggested it when I said that I can hear my eye movements. Through that, I was able to find the SCDS Facebook group, which was extremely helpful. And it helped me see that SCDS is a lot more common than I thought it was. The Facebook group was a blessing to me. It made me feel less alone, and also made me feel like there wasn't something wrong with me. All of these symptoms that I was feeling, like the brain fog, the speech issues, the memory loss, the fatigue, were all symptoms that most of the sufferers in the group had been dealing with. So maybe it's not something wrong with me. Maybe it's related to this condition. And if I get treatment, there's hope that I can get better. SCDS stands for Superior Canal Dehiscence Syndrome, And rather than me try to explain it to you and fumble over my words, I'm going to show you the definition that I got online from Hopkins Medicine. Finding a doctor who can diagnose SCDS can be very difficult, since it's such a hard condition to diagnose. There are people that even have to go travel outside of their state to specialists to get properly diagnosed and treated. I was lucky enough to find somebody locally, which I ended up doing some digging through the Facebook groups that I'm in and some online forums, and I was very happy to find the ENT that I did. Once I saw the ENT, he ordered a thin slice CT scan along with an MRI with and without contrast. With these scans, he was clearly able to see that I had SCDS and informed me that the only way to correct this is with surgery. And he would perform the surgery with a neurosurgeon who I was going to meet with next. He also wanted one extra test for me to do, which is a vestibular test with a VIMP, just to have one further combination on paper showing that, yes, I have this condition. I met with a neurosurgeon, and he further confirmed that he clearly saw the SCDS, and also he saw a bone defect that I have that is causing my CSF leak. So they informed me that they couldn't go in the same way that they went before, or that my previous doctor went in before, because that area is so sensitive right now. So it would be through a middle fascia craniotomy, which would be up above my ear, somewhere around here. So at this point in time, I am awaiting to get the VIMP test done, which I will be getting done next week in Houston. And after that, I will be meeting with the doctors and hopefully setting a date for surgery. If you see me looking down a whole lot, that's because I have my notes here with me. The brain fog and the memory loss makes it really hard for me to be able to hold on to a thought without having to reference something. And the speech issues too. My speech issues, the pauses in my speech, that's something else that has been getting worse with this condition. And that's kind of why I've been using my notes. I feel crummy most days, but I'm trusting that God is there, and I'm holding on to hope that I'm going in the right direction and that this surgery will help me and not hinder me. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comments below. If you'd like to follow my journey, hit the subscribe button and the notification button. I plan on doing more videos documenting different things along the way. And I just thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully I come back with another video in a more positive note.